Top 20 Resident Assistant Interview Questions and Answers. Resident assistants are peer advisors and educators who live and work with student residents. They are tasked with aiding students to address their personal and academic needs as well within the students' residential areas. Below are 20 common interview questions that can help you navigate a financial controller interview successfully. 1. Why are you interested in this role? The purpose of this question is to help the hiring organization figure out why you intend to take the job. You can talk about specific aspects that sparked your interest in this role. Sample answer. As a second-year undergraduate student in psychology, I believe that mentorship has been a part of me. I possess good interpersonal skills and an exemplary disciplinary record which makes me a good fit for this role. I also know the residents well enough and am conversant with campus laws and protocols, which is an advantage. My interpersonal and problem-solving skills enable me to assist people faced with difficult situations. 2. What are the roles of a resident assistant? The hiring manager asks this question to establish if the interviewee is aware of the duties and responsibilities associated with the position. Candidly explain some of the duties you perform in this role. Sample answer. As a resident assistant, my duties and responsibilities include creating a comfortable, safe, and supportive atmosphere for the residents. This encompasses conducting regular room checks, providing information about campus activities either through social media or in person. Other duties include acting as a bridge between students and administration and coordinating hosting of events in my residence. 3. What are the qualities that a resident assistant need to be successful? In this question, the interviewer is seeking to determine the skills you possess which are essential to this line of work. In brief, discuss the various qualities that make you a good resident assistant. Sample answer. As a resident assistant, I live by a high set of ethical standards, since I am required to serve as a role model. I also possess a good attitude and am a warm and understanding person. Patience and humility are also my qualities as I am always ready to help a student in need. I am authoritative to a certain extent since dealing with fellow students requires that you maintain a certain degree of control. As a resident assistant, I am also a good manager of time and ensure that I balance my classes with work efficiently. 4. What major challenges did you face during your last role? How did you manage them? In this question, the interviewer is focused on understanding the interviewee's ability to handle difficult situations. Highlight a difficult situation you faced in your role and explain how you overcame it. Sample answer. One of my biggest challenges is the lack of distinction between work and recreation time. My place of work happens to be my home and this is rather difficult. The other challenge is balancing between extracurricular activities and work as I have a tight schedule. The other issue is dealing with the social stigma as most students see us spoilers and this is really challenging. 5. Describe your daily routine as a resident assistant. Basically, the interviewer expects you to relay an account of events you undertake in your daily routine as a resident assistant. In detail go through your schedule from when your shift starts to when it ends. Sample answer. My job revolves around getting residents involved in beneficial activities and also building a positive and vibrant community. We usually operate in shifts, and mine starts at 8 a.m. I usually sit in the lounge while keeping an eye on the residential blocks to sniff out any abnormal activities around the residential blocks. Sometimes a student in need might seek help from me either in academics or personal issues. The shift ends at 8 p.m., and my workmate takes over. However, in a real sense, my shift never ends, only that I become less active and focus on other matters. 6. Describe briefly about your experience. The interviewer wants to understand your credentials as a resident assistant and the qualifications you hold. Identity both the professional and academic qualifications you hold. Sample answer. I haven't had any working experience so far as this is my first application. However, I meet all the requirements as stipulated for this role. I have been living in the residence halls for 3 semesters and had 16 credits in my last semester. I also possess effective communication and listening skills. I am a quick learner and expect to even improve after a little bit of training. 7. What kind of strategy and mindset is required for this role? The interviewer seeks to understand your approach to this role. This includes the methods you employ to obtain the desired results. Clearly outline what you believe is the best approach and mentality. Sample answer: as a resident assistant, I ought to be authoritative to some extent to ensure that students are me as a guiding figure. I also possess a significant degree of empathy for needy students. I am a warm and honest person, which makes it easier for students to open up to me about their troubles. Good virtues and setting the standards morally is also a laudable approach. 8. What is the biggest challenge that you foresee in this role? Challenges are a part of any profession. However, how you manage to overcome these challenges is of significant importance. The purpose of the interviewer is to understand how you view the level of difficulty expected in the role and how you plan to withstand them. Sample answer: in my previous role, I encountered a variety of challenges, but key amongst this was the issue of integration with the residents. The initial stages of creating a community and building trust is usually difficult. However, I believe with time this hurdle would be overcome. Also, balancing my work schedule and studies is crucial, as it expected that I perform in my academics while also delivering in my role. 9. How do you stay motivated in your work? In this role, motivation is really important. This is due to the nature of the role, as long hours and frustrations from dealing with residents are expected. In detail explain what keeps you going even under pressure. Sample answer: as always, this role requires a cheerful and energetic person. I always strive to remain positive-minded to cater to the needs of others. My sources of motivation come from the incentives that come with the role, such as free single rooms, and the opportunity to lead others, as well as serving as the gateway between fellow students and the administration. The prospect of also learning while working is enticing. Being regarded as a role model for other students is also a special feeling. 10. Describe a time when you failed in this role and the lesson you learned. Failure is a source of demotivation in most instances. Though it is through such experiences that we learn something new. Indicate a situation where you failed and the positives you took from the occurrence. Sample answer: I had a particular student resident called Pete who was really difficult to deal with. On a number of occasions, I tried to advise him on his behavior. However, he found it hard to take advice from a person his age. I got an urgent call one night of a medical emergency in one of the residence halls. I hurried to the scene and was dismayed to find Pete sprawled on the ground and foaming. He had overdosed on drugs. I called the ambulance and he was taken to the hospital. I pondered over the turn of events and regretted not taking affirmative action against him. It may have saved him from this calamity. I pledged that in future such matters would be handled firmly to avert such incidents. 11. Why do you feel you are the most suited for this role? The hiring manager is interested in knowing the kind of values and skills you will bring into the organization. In brief, highlight your unique capabilities that make you a cut above the rest. Sample answer: I believe this job suits me because I tick all the boxes. I have a fantastic disciplinary record and my academic performance in recent semesters has been top-notch. On a personal level, I have exemplary problem-solving skills. I have attended special training courses, such as first aid and fire management. On top of this, I have been a resident of this hall for 2 semesters. My interpersonal skills are also of note, as I can interact and blend in with little effort. 12. Share with us your greatest achievement. The employer asks this question to gauge your position and pride from your accomplishments. Pick an achievement from both your academic and professional life and explain in detail why it is your greatest. Sample answer: my greatest achievement so far was successfully enrolling for my degree in mathematics despite lacking financial support. I was able to do odd jobs to find my tuition. Despite these difficulties, I managed 16 credits last semester. I hope to keep going from strength to strength and eventually graduate top of my class. I am also resilient enough and can operate with minimal supervision. 13. How would you promote diversity in your residence halls? Diversity is important, especially in places where different types of people convene. This is because it helps get rid of negative stereotypes and biases about certain groups of people. A diverse community provides for healthy interactions and inclusion. Sample answer: the major step in promoting diversity is creating public awareness. Since information is power, I mainly focus on sensitivity training. This is because effective sensitivity training focuses on activities that recognize aspects of different custom beliefs and values. The other step is through creating affinity groups within the residents. For instance, a Chinese affinity group may introduce certain aspects of their culture such as sushi. On the other hand, ensuring that the resident occupants live in a mixed setup with people of mixed heritage being roommates can improve their relationships with one another. 14. How would you help a new student adjust to academic and residential life? One of the roles of a resident assistant is to help new students ease into campus life. In this question, the interviewer wants to understand how you perform this role. Sample answer: for a new student settling into campus life can be challenging. Therefore, a helping hand can be necessary for ensuring they settle in. To fulfill this obligation, I always pair new students with experienced and reliable senior students for a while. The senior student helps them settle into their new environment. I also provide brochures to new students on campus schedules, guidelines, and events to walk them through the semester. 15. What do you like to do aside from work? They say work without play makes Jack a dull boy. Here the interviewer would like to understand how you spend your free time. Identify some of your recreational and side activities. Sample answer: my role provides little time for recreation. However, I love playing snooker with my friends to blow off some steam. It also provides an opportunity to mingle with other residents. On other occasions, I prefer to visit the local museum and park. I am also a soccer game, and on most Sundays when an opportunity presents itself, spend some time on the pitch playing with other students. 16. In case of a crisis, what measures would you take? Crises, especially in social setups, can really be devastating if no precautionary measures are in place. In brief, explain the plans you have in place to both avert and deal with different types of crises. Sample answer: from my experience, there are certain crises that are easily manageable, however others can wreak havoc. We, therefore, strive to put in place precautionary measures to limit damages. In most instances, I always ensure that fire extinguishers are available in all residence halls. First aid kits are another important requirement in residential halls. 17. What are your strengths and weaknesses? This is a common interview question. Although one may have knowledge of their strengths and weaknesses, carefully structuring your response is necessary. Sample answer: I am an empathetic person who relates to people of all kinds. Problem solving is my other strength, as I can see situations from multiple perspectives, which makes it easier for me to address them. My major weakness is that I always shy away from confrontation, and has been an issue since my role sometimes requires confrontation. I recognize this and have been working on solving situations using means such as mediation and persuasion. 18. Describe a situation in your role where you mentored someone. In this particular question, you are required to be specific in nature and give an example of a real-life situation while in your role. Be honest and do not overthink. Sample answer: in my role as both a resident assistant and an economics student, I mentored a freshman who was also studying economics. The student had difficulties in his studies and cited the reason for his poor performance was his drunkard roommate. I helped him secure a different room and assisted him with his studies. With time his performances improved and he was thankful. 19. Explain how you manage time effectively in this role. In this question, the hiring manager wants to see if you are organized and practice proper time management. In brief, explain how you handle your time while working and studying. Sample answer: in truth, maintaining a perfect work-study relationship is challenging. However, the introduction of online learning has helped a lot since I can attend classes over my laptop. This has really helped me maintain a balance between classes and work. 20. Provide an instance when your ethics were tested. The interviewer in this regard seeks to establish how far you may go to uphold your values. Explain a situation where your virtues were put to test in your role. Sample answer: I remember in a particular semester one of my friends thought he could take advantage of our friendship and bend the rules. He had a birthday party and wanted to host people way past the required time. I denied his wishes and left him sulking. He took some time to get over it but eventually understood that I was just doing my job. Conclusion: these are some of the common questions for the role of production worker, but it is essential for a candidate to prepare extensively for an interview. Consulting and reading to obtain further information on the role is crucial, since having sufficient knowledge eases pressure on you before the big interview.